Literature is a lot of things. Literature does a lot of things. Literature is for a lot of things. But if there's one thing above all that literature is useful for which literature is useful, it might be recognition of the self. And what does it mean to recognize the self? If not, that the self can then be improved. Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion that will appear in the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel. A playlist now cruising towards 750 videos strong. It will not be too much longer before we hit 1,000, and I doubt anyone else has done that. Come for me if you think someone has. Now, the poem in question today is known as In the Desert by Stephen Crane, and it reads as such. In the desert I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered, "but I like it, because it is bitter and because it is my heart." Now, in order to really get any type of purchase on this poem, I think the first thing that we have to ask is, what does the desert represent? Why is the desert so important that it is the first thing mentioned? After all, we have a weird little creature eating its own heart. That seems like the important part of things, but instead, our speaker is giving us the setting first. The desert is a very, very useful tool for writers. Oftentimes, the desert doesn't oftentimes represent one thing. It kind of represents everything that it represents every time it's ever mentioned. Some of those things are purification. The desert is known for purifying. You're not you're not going to get through the desert without being 100% of whatever it is that needs to survive, right? The landscape of the desert is such that things which have any fluff to them at all, there's no peacocks in the desert, right? Everything in the desert is running 100% efficiently. It also oftentimes represents religious test, right? So, what is a religious test? It is a test of the soul. It is basically asceticism, torture or um, rigorous activity for the body, uh, of the body, for the express purpose of making the soul better. So, this is something which is the desert torturous in order that the soul be purified. See how these things will all sort of roll into each other. And that's why I say that the desert is kind of used to represent everything that it represents every time that it's used. The next thing is in sort of the same way that the ocean is used, sort of in the same way that the woods are used. It is used to represent the subconscious. Those wriggling ideas and thoughts in the back of our mind, which we do not control, but which might control us. The subconscious is one of the scariest things if you're willing to delve into what these things mean. If most of your thoughts come from, all of your thoughts really come from some place that you don't watch them sort of bubble up, you don't watch them originate. They exist until they are part of your awareness. Look into the split brain experiments if you don't believe me there. The subconscious is scary because it is a part of us, a part of our a part of the way we perceive and experience the world. And we don't control it. We have no say over it. So the desert represents that oftentimes. But in line with purification and religious test and the subconscious, the desert also symbolizes isolation, which is kind of the perfect bow to put on it. What is purification? Well, you go through it alone. What is a religious test? Well, you have to be alone to go through it. What is the subconscious? Well, it's just you, baby. But you don't control it. So we have here this individual going through the desert and seeing a strange little creature eating its own heart and saying that heart is bitter, but that weird little creature likes it that way. Now, if we are to take that weird little creature eating its own bitter, bitter heart into context with what the desert, so important in this poem that it is the first thing mentioned, represents, that little creature is the speaker. That little creature is the self. That little creature is the acting portion of the speaker. We are meant to see ourselves in that strange dichotomy. We are meant to see ourselves in this quaint couple. We are meant to see ourselves in this pairing of individuals that seems kind of disparate. Our speaker is, after all, well off enough to be able to explain what it is that he is seeing, while and whereas that creature, naked and bestial, squatting on the ground, is so inhuman as to be described this way and to be eating its own heart. But isn't this all of us? Isn't your heart bitter somewhere? And don't only you aren't you the best equipped to be able to see that? Aren't you the best equipped to be able to diagnose that the way that our weird little creature diagnoses this? Says, my heart is bitter, but I like it not just because it is my heart, but because it is bitter. Does that subconscious part of you, or does that subconscious part of you not fixate on the bad things oftentimes? It's the frontal lobe. It is the idyllic portion of you that concentrates on the good, on the hopeful, on the goals, on the striving, on whatever it is towards which you are working. But that subconscious, that lizard brain inside you, does not recognize these things in that same way. That lizard brain inside of you is there in order to shout out danger. That lizard brain part of you is there because the dangers in life, the bitterness in life, the anger in life is real. In fact, in many ways, it is more real than love. The realest thing in life is the acceptance that you're going to die. Love doesn't change that. But recognizing the negatives, recognizing the danger of life might stop it, might stop death for a little while. So your subconscious, that weird little creature inside you, naked and bestial, is wandering around, eating at your heart, eating at that good portion of you, that frontal lobe portion of you, which is in your chest. The love portion of you, eating on it, eating the bitterness and focusing there. But you are not meant to. You are meant to be the speaker in this poem, focusing most on those things in life which are worth living. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.